Okay, so this morning we're going to be do an install on an Arctic Spa. We're going to be installing an electrode. This electrode is essential when we're running a spa with salt. First of all, we need to identify everything with the probe. Open the box up like so. Inside, your component should consist of A, connector which connects to the tub and also to the probe, and B, the probe itself and the two connectors which connect to the generator. So first things first, we're going to take the PTFE tape, which is your tape to actually make the threads waterproof. So basically just going to wrap around the bottom of this. I normally do 7 times, which is normal for this. At that point, I can then take the vial off the bottom of the probe, which has to stay wet at all times. And then I'm going to take the rest of this connector apart, put it over the probe, take the slither, take that off, put that over the probe, and inside there we have 2 rubber O-rings. These are very important because they stop water from coming out. The end of the probe has 2 glass balls on there. We have to make sure that those glass balls do not get damaged. So first and foremost, we put the 2 rubbers over the top, push them all the way down to the bottom, and then we're going to, just for this time being, we're just going to put this back into the water. By putting it back into the water, we can then just hold it in place. We don't need to do anything else. So right now we're looking at the actual probe orifice in which we have to put the receptacle into. It's a threaded piece. As you've seen before, we actually put the PTFE tape on there first, and now we're going to screw it into the hole. So basically just get into the hole and just put it into, it will just, thick threads, they should just go in quite easily, which they never do when you're trying to do it on a camera. So there we go. So we can turn that in, and all we're going to do is turn it in hand tight, no tighter than hands. That's it. That's it there. Okay, so right now we're ready to put in the probe itself. So now we're going to take the probe off the vial, okay, because it has to stay wet at all times. So at this point, the tub should be filled above the actual probe inlet inside the tub. If that's the case, we can continue. If not, we do not put the probe in until we have sufficient water that covers that inlet over there. So if we go and have a look inside the tub right now, so I'm just going to show you the inside of the tub. So this here is a plug. So we fill the tub above here with water, then we can put the probe in. So what we're going to do is put the probe in now, and then once we've done that, we can take the plug out. So now basically what we're going to do, we're going to take the vial off the end of the probe, like so, and then we're going to push this whole piece now, which was already made up. You saw me doing that earlier on in the video. We're going to push it into the end of this, and then we're just going to turn it. As you can hear it clicking. We'll do the same thing again. We're just going to put that in hand tight until it stops. And once that's done, we can then look out, and then we can take the plug out inside the hot tub. By doing that, we're keeping the probe wet at all times, which is very essential. So right now, everything's in a good place. Once you've done that, because we're filling inside your kit, there's a grate. This protects the end of the probe. We put that in place, just like that. So now once that's been done, we can actually go back to our 2 leads. And as you can see, one of them says pH and the other one says ORP. So if you're doing this as a homeowner, ORP to me. So basically I'm this side of the tub. So the connection, which is just here, you can see that. So you can see that there. There's 2 audio receptacles. So the ORP is closest to me. So basically all I'm going to do is pop in there, and they'll just go into a place. They'll fit over the slot, turn it, pull it out, won't go anywhere. So ORP is on first, and the pH goes closest to the inside of the tub, which is just. Once that's in place, we are then connected. Okay, so basically we've got the probe in position with this extra cable. we can just zip tie to any one of these up here to keep it off any other components. So basically just put a zip tie around it, holds it in place. So now your probe is connected. We're now in the position, once the tub is full, we can actually start the tub up. When we come to drain our tub and replace the water, we would reverse the process that we've done to a degree. Basically what we're going to do, we're going to take the water down to just above the probe. And at that point, obviously the power was off. We're going to take the water down to above the probe. Then we're going to take this protective grate off. And then we're going to put the plug back in place. So because that's in place and there's still water over the probe, that will stay wet. So at that point, we can continue draining the tub. And then once we've drained the tub, we can wipe the inside out and then we can refill. Process is, once we start to refill, once we get above the probe, we would then reverse this process that we did to drain it. We take the plug out and we put the grate back in. And a good feature of this is that every 2 or 3 months would be to get a hose pipe whilst your tub is full of water and just point it into the receptacle where the probe is and give it a blast of water to try and keep it as clean as we possibly can, because things will try and congregate around the probe.